Today's episode of My Worst Date is brought to you by Audible.
Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/myworstdate.
Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Cheers! Is back, which I think is for a lot of people what the mark of fall is. And I'm like, when did we let this happen? Where it's just like the seasons are marked by like beverages.
My dad got banned from a Kmart because he got so
angry.
Sorry.
Oh my God. Wait, Kmart still exists?
First of all, Kmart still exists. Wait. Secondly, your dad got banned.
His
for
face.
Life.
Wow.
For life.
From a Kmart because he got so enraged about Christmas decorations being out before Halloween.
If that isn't the oldest man thing though to get like that enraged about. Like you can go
I'm
home.
not happy about it. But I'm not banned from.
I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm not going to start yelling. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
did.
I'm not going to cause a scene.
It imprinted on me, like, because I'm low key down for drama.
And you were playing Consequences
all the time.
Yep.
Like. There was parking lot drama at the Ralph's today,
and
both
I
Keegan and I were like,
to stick around and see how that panned
You're
out.
Like popcorn.
We had to get here to record, but otherwise I would have been like, "What's going to happen here?
Yeah.
Is somebody going to start throwing hands?"
I love me some drama. I love watching drama, but being involved
no,
or like when
it's
your
like parent or grandparent
and your kid, it's so awkward.
Ooh.
You want to crawl out of your skin.
It's literally the worst.
My grandpa started arguing with McDonald's employee once, and I was like, "No, all I want to do is leave." This poor person makes minimum wage. Like, could you not?
Never argue with a fast food worker.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault.
Look, man, they barely want to be there as is.
Yeah.
Right? Come on.
I have to remind myself, I can get kind of bad sometimes with some customer service reps, and I'm like, okay, like legitimately, this is, they're not making the big decisions,
right.
You know?
Absolutely. However, I will say as someone who worked in customer support, because I worked in customer support, I am gentle, but firm. Like, because I'm just like, I also know how this works, and I know when I'm being fucking like played.
Right.
Like, I know when you're sending me like nothing but prepared responses and you're throwing everything at me because you don't know what to do.
You're like,
and I'll even
sorry,
say that.
I came to play today, actually.
Yes, absolutely. You don't, I'm sorry,
I have time.
And T, you don't understand. I'm calling you out legitimately because that's an email I got recently where I'm like, you don't understand. I worked customer support in the job that you are doing right now for years. Don't try and play a player. Like, I know exactly what you're doing right now.
I know how this shit works.
Okay?
I had the rule book. I know.
Please.
The entire
I was a
game.
customer support lead. I trained other people to do
trained
that shit.
you, motherfucker.
Come on. Not today. Not today.
The number of times that when things have gone wrong and I've had to call like a customer support line and been like, I am so sorry. Like, I am just very upset right now. I know this has nothing to do with you.
Absolutely.
I say that all the time.
Yes.
No, this isn't you.
I know this has nothing to do with you. I don't want you to feel like I'm being disrespectful towards you. I am just very angry at this situation.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. I do. I try to be like super polite about it.
I do that too. And I will even say, I'm like, look, I understand that like you guys are probably getting a lot, like you have a high volume of stuff coming in right now. I understand that like you're navigating this. However, this situation is still happening and I am going to need you to do something about it.
Yeah.
So you gotta find that balance. Yeah. Don't be a dickhead to customer support people. Don't do that. Like
no reason.
But there's not.
That's
but,
a good,
but be firm.
But be firm.
Yeah.
That's difficult sometimes for a Midwestern. I'm like either like the nicest person,
right,
or like
I will set your building on fire.
Throwing cans for reals, though.
You're like, I'm going to flip this building.
I will find out where you work.
Exactly.
I know where you work.
Oh man, well, this is my worst date.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god,
I'm
never
Christina.
The first. I'm
What?
Keegan.
I'm Cassi.
That's insanity. That never happens that way. I don't know. I feel very thrown.
Wow.
Well, speaking of fall, I am so excited about football season.
I know you are.
Shit. Okay, that just reminded me.
Buckeyes
I need to set my keepers because I'm doing my fantasy league tomorrow, and I will get all the shit from my brother if I'm the person this year who forgot to set their keepers.
I don't know anything about fantasy football, but I will tell you, Cassie, because you're going to love this story.
I'm excited already.
Every night before bed, I kind of scroll through YouTube and watch a few videos as I'm winding down. And I don't know how it got mixed up in my feed in YouTube, but there was the best damn band in the land clip of them getting ready for the game this Sunday, and they played the God, I don't know the theme song. That's not right. The so they're doing the drum line and they're marching out to the field. I got goosebumps and then I started crying. I started crying
because it's something like when you grew up with that. It was just there's nostalgia attached to it for sure.
I did, and I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to tell Cassie that I cried about the Ohio State marching band because I don't really watch football. Yeah, but I was like, okay, maybe there's something here. But I watched so many games growing up. Yeah. Growing up right by the shoe, you can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. It's in your DNA.
You either grow up absolutely hating, loathing the idea, or you grow up absolutely loving it. And I think there's not a lot of in between.
I love it. Yeah. And I'm denying that love.
An in between.
I feel like I am in between. I feel like I'm in between. I grew up soaking in football. Like my family loved it. Like everyone, my mom, my dad, all of my brothers, they're so into football. And I'm indifferent about it. Like I will definitely go watch. I'll go to B-dubs and watch the games with anybody who wants to go. Like because I think it's a social
and it's social
event,
and it's fun.
And I will always participate in like my family's fantasy football league again for the same reasons. It feels like it's part of that culture. But as far as really caring,
getting home every Sunday to watch the fucking football game.
I'm definitely
I'm a Saturday football girl, but
I'm not a diehard must do this thing.
I'm only diehard about college football. Like there's nothing where I'm like, I'm sorry, the game's on. Excuse me, except for like Buckeye football, college football. I'm fucking love it. And for me, again, Keegan, you and I are the opposite. Like where I literally grew up in a family that didn't give two shits about football, and I'm the one who's like,
we should have traded places.
I really want to watch all the games, and nobody's like,
my dad is like, this is the daughter I should have had. What the fuck is this?
I mean, I'll trade you.
But yeah, that made me laugh, and then it also made me think. I'm like, how am I like the least like matronly person out of this whole group? I am like the proud booby or whatever. Yes. Like I always cry at like the Beyonce halftime show. Sweet. I'm like, you're doing so good. I just get really emotional when people
relate
do good
to that so hard. The number of like So You Think You Can Dance or like Dancing with the Stars things I've watched
when
where
people do a really good job, I get really emotional.
And like, you know what? It's funny because like Amy, our friend Amy, and Anthony, they're both like, you're a robot. Like you never like cry when things are like really emotional, but I will cry if I see like a commercial with puppies in it. Like I cry at like that shit. You know?
Of an angel.
Yeah.
You're like,
oh my God. Or like, when I was watching Homecoming and she started singing the Negro National Anthem, I was like, like
you
tears.
You cry.
Yeah. Full
legit
tears.
Yeah.
So good.
I mean, and honestly, I think Sarah McLachlan has like, my body is numb to those commercials now. Like I don't get as like worked up. In fact, I just mute them or change the station because I'm like, I can't handle it. Yeah. But it's more like if I see a cute puppy in like a Charmin commercial, then I'm like, oh my God. Like it's not designed to make me feel like to make me cry, but I'm just like, oh, but look at it.
For me, it's it's people like overcoming stuff or doing really well.
Oh my God.
Dude, I cannot. The number of times I've opened Facebook and watched a video of like a troop coming, like a guy coming home
and like, Yes, those videos.
Just
oh my
tears
god!
rolling down
When
my
it's a
face.
surprise to a child or to an animal, I'm
Or
just
to anybody.
my
Anybody.
God.
A guy coming home and his family. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
The
all
funny,
of that stuff.
The funny thing is I have a big question for you guys because during the game today, where we won, of course,
Just gonna drop that in.
drop that brag. There were a lot of commercials for SmackDown, and speaking of nostalgic, I was getting so nostalgic.
Are you talking about wrestling?
Wrestling, because they were doing like The Rock. Can you smell?
Oh my god, that was really popular. That was
No.
really popular at a certain. I had to have been 17 years old when I was 17. There was like a summer, like this summer is White Claw.
The summer of the White Claw.
Summer of when I was 17 was wrestling.
There was
The Rock,
a
it was
period of
Triple
time.
X.
Yeah,
Yes, Triple H.
There was
Triple
a period
H,
of time.
Triple
where
H,
they did that
Road
thing.
Dogg.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
Oh, yes.
Shit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Where it
So
was like,
here we are.
It was super popular for like summer, and then it was not.
It's so funny you
anymore.
say that because as a little kid, I grew up on my babysitter used to watch wrestling, and so I just kind of
Are
grew
you
up
talking about
watching
like Hulk Hogan
I'm
and
talking
shit
like
that?
Hulk
and Randy
Hogan. I'm
Savage.
talking about Ric Flair. I'm talking about like old school wrestling.
This
And
is something I
then
can't get behind.
I as well had the
No.
summer of wrestling, which was, you're absolutely right, like Triple H, The Rock, fucking like
Undertaker.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mankind. Oh my god,
I remember this. I remember it vividly.
It was
I do
really,
remember it because
really
I was
popular
yeah,
for like weirdly for like a summer.
I was probably
So-
8 or 9. I remember it, and everyone did that thing with
The Triple
where
H.
they, where they did the
Yeah.
X over
Yes.
their like crotch.
Yes.
Like that was huge. Everyone did the thing
I
where
wanna
they were
bring
like,
that back.
we'll just walk around. And
We
do
just
it.
walk around.
I don't
Yes.
I don't want to do that. That's
Keegan,
not my
come
favorite.
on.
We're doing it. We're making it happen.
Guys.
She's like, I'm uncomfortable.
I'm
That's
gonna
not
be
my
walking around
favorite.
just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You guys are
Apologizing
next
to
to,
the
me,
world.
like doing it. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
She just carries the sign that says, I'm sorry.
I'm not with them.
Keegan and I were talking when we were getting our nails done today that this is my favorite thing that I've started saying, which is this is not my favorite, and I believe that I got it from Keegan, but I've been saying it in my
That's
real
awesome.
life
Yeah,
all
where
the time.
I'm just like, that's not my favorite.
That's
That's not
not
my
my
favorite
favorite.
thing.
That's not my favorite thing.
It's kind of a Midwestern, bless
like
your
it.
heart.
Oh,
it
yes.
kind of is. I saw the perfect Midwestern meme that I shared on my Facebook because I was like, that's so true. Because everyone talks about ope, which is a thing that
Ope.
I definitely do. Where you're
Totally.
like, oh, I'm just
Ope.
going to sneak past you right there. Like, you know,
just gonna squeeze by you.
and I absolutely do that.
Oh.
And it is totally a Midwestern thing. But
I ope it all day.
But I saw a meme that was just like, we talk about oat being a Midwestern thing, but no one talks about how Midwesterners always say, oh no, you're fine, as a response to sorry. I
Bingo.
say, oh no,
All
you're fine.
the
Like
time.
literally
All the
every
time.
day of my
Yeah.
life. Where I'm like,
No
oh no,
worries.
no, you're fine.
I
We're no
also
worries.
say I'm sorry every day of my life.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
I feel like and somebody in Drinkarinos was talking about there was a Drinkarino thread that was just Midwestern memes, and someone in there
were
was like,
brilliant.
I'm starting to learn that Midwesterners are just Canadians.
Yes.
Because
So true.
because there
This
were like
weekend-
Canadians that were like, these are all true for Canada too.
Yeah.
Like,
This weekend, I was working in the booth with a girl who's from Canada, and we were literally making fun of each other for the number of fucking opes that came out of her
Yeah,
mouth.
ope.
Oh.
yeah,
Like,
Yep.
it's so funny.
It was wild.
It's so true.
Wow.
I have such a soft spot for the Midwest.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
I make I've definitely made fun of
yeah.
Right.
We're making fun of
Midwesterners on
ourselves.
this podcast, but like I love the Midwest.
But it's
I
like
a lot of
somebody
love
making fun of your mom.
Midwesterners.
But
Yeah.
it's like somebody making fun of your mom. Like, it's okay if I make fun of it, but come
Okay,
on,
but you can
come at it.
exactly.
back the fuck off.
I will
But you know what?
flip this table.
As someone who I feel like am now like I feel like I'm like half Midwesterner, half
Yeah.
like Angelino. I feel the same way if people like come for Californians.
Same.
I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Same.
Also, no, I can talk shit.
Right.
I can talk shit.
I can talk about the traffic
Yes.
sucks. Get the
You
fuck out
don't
of here.
get to do it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
no. So whenever we were at Ralph's with all of the like
craziness.
the parking lot drama, which by the way, I feel like I,
think
should
that's very
explain.
Midwestern too, to be like,
Ooh, shit. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Look, I
What's
don't want to be
happening?
in it, but I
We-
definitely want to watch you guys.
And we
do
are
this.
going to call the cops. By the way, I feel like Midwesterners are going to call the authorities because, like, if drama's
suddenly
going down,
we become Karens.
Yes,
all
we
of
do.
us.
But yeah, Karen is lodged in our DNA naturally as a Midwesterner.
I feel like I wouldn't call the cops, but I would definitely call other people over to watch. Like, I'd be like, "Who wants to come watch this shit go down?"
If it got hype, I would.
Oh yeah. Oh, if people start
if
really
I see a drunk driver, I do.
If people start really throwing hands, if things got bad, but like
I would assume somebody else was doing it.
That is very Midwestern.
Yeah.
To even contact the authorities, like, at all.
Well, because if you live in a city, like if you live in a big city for long enough, people just kind of are like,
well, I don't want to get involved.
I kind of in that world where I'm like, I kind of assume somebody else is doing it. They don't need 50 calls
unless someone is in danger. Like I would only ever do something like I'd only ever call the cops. I feel like if somebody was like,
and I was the only
danger.
one around.
Yeah,
because again, I have this place where I'm like, well, I assume somebody already did.
Well,
it.
but you shouldn't do that
for me
because then you end up in the bystander situation, the Kitty Genovese situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, but if I see other people around, I mean,
but they'll all assume that somebody else is going to call, and then nobody does.
I'm definitely like, I know how I react in that situation now because
you did it.
I did it.
Yeah.
Not only did I call
the only person around. You were the only one.
No, there were other people like down the street or whatever, and I was like witnessing it. I fucking ran over. Like I was going to do
at your
something.
home too.
Yeah.
And because Chris had called the cops on this lady who was kind of having like I think a psychotic break in the middle of the street, who was like kind of screaming or whatever, and was like, this was like at our old place. So I think it's different when it's a place you live versus like maybe a Ralph's parking lot.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I will say this though, like that woman, I felt like she was bold, like, cause what happened was she turned into Ralph's and then she like barely got in and then she turned on her turn signal like she was going to take a parking spot, but there was no one leaving. And so what happened was, cause she was right in the entrance of like in between two entrances, people were trying to come into the Ralph's both directions. And so
she's just blocking that
she's just blocking it. And so there were like cars moving back, people were honking their horns and she's still
their damn
and she
mind.
Still wasn't moving, which to me I would melt right into the floor if that happened.
Die immediately if that happens.
and she wasn't moving, and I'm like, also here's a hot tip for like Angelinos or like Californians. When it comes to fucking parking, people will lose their shit.
Minds.
Like people will
their minds
cut you over like a parking spot. And so if you are stopping people, and people are also busy, so like they just want to get in and buy their shit at Ralph's. So if you are holding that process up, like the process of like parking and getting in somewhere,
they will cut you.
Watch out.
We were talking about that at the Ralph's because the line was long, and then like, okay, so it takes maybe like a minute 30 to put your debit card in and then like enter your shit. It's like
and
a
God
minute
forbid
30.
It was like today where like my finger wouldn't work for like the touch screen. I had to use the pen, and I'm like, God, this is taking all 30 seconds.
And I said, I was just like, you know what? Just I want the chip.
Just put the chip in my wrist. Let me scan it and let me leave.
I'm ready for it. That's how little I can be inconvenienced these days.
Oh man.
Well,
I can't handle a minute 30.
You're very right. Like honestly at this point I really railed against that idea of like, our AI overlords, but I'm to a point now where I'm just like,
I'm ready.
I think we just got to lean into it. Like we can't resist it. First of all, secondly, there's a real possibility that we're all going to be dead in like 50 years. So I mean, fuck it. If it can be a little bit more convenient, just might as fucking well.
Yeah.
But so we got to talking about that because we were talking about, Elon Musk. We were looking at all of the like People magazines.
Oh yeah,
and things.
Miley and Liam's nasty divorce.
I know exactly how this happened. It happened because we saw a picture, and God bless him. We saw a picture of Prince William and Prince Harry side by side.
Oh no!
And we're like, William, you gotta just shave it. You gotta shave it.
Lean in.
And also, we definitely would not have taken that bet. Like I never, when they were younger, would have thought that Harry was going to be like the hot one.
Yeah.
And that's probably low key why Kate hates Meghan, is because she's like, I bet on the wrong prince.
Were you a Harry?
Yeah,
you won.
one.
You
I was
did
a
win.
William.
I was a William.
I knew that. William looks just like his father, and so you knew that shit was
He
gonna turn out
was
sad.
cute when he was younger.
Yeah.
He was so cute.
I didn't think so. I never thought
did.
either of them were really cute, honestly.
Harry's
He's cute
But
now.
you know I love a fucking
hot
ginger.
now.
He
Oh my
hot.
god!
Oh,
and
he
with
hot
that
now.
beard and stuff too, he's doing. I'm like,
so sexy. But so
You know
we
I
were
love a ginger.
talking about that and like, you know, his balding situation, which look, it's fine. But I want to
love a bald
encourage
guy.
I want to encourage my men out there that like it's okay to just shave it off.
Yeah,
Like, you don't have to do.
total turn
You
on for
love
me.
bald.
I do love
You
bald
do.
guys. It's
In
a thing.
fact, you might flip back around if William just goes ahead and shaves it off.
I might be like, you know what?
Actually,
I did win.
yeah.
I did win.
But so we were talking about how like there are older pictures of Elon Musk where like he's got that halo going on.
Yeah.
And so we know for sure
He had plugs,
that
yeah.
he's had plugs. Again, fine. Do
Okay.
whatever makes you feel good.
You do you, boo.
But it got us talking about how, for me personally, like I feel like Elon Musk would be like the most insufferable person. And I hear people talk about him like they like love him and they idolize him. And I'm like, if I had to sit in a room with Elon Musk and have a conversation with him for all of like 2 minutes.
Yeah, he's got a strong ego.
Oh, so much smugness happening that I'm like, I would absolutely want to murder if I had to be in a room with him for very long.
I kind of feel that way about when we did the scientist. What's his name? Black scientist.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. I feel like he might be insufferable.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like both of those guys are gonna actually you like
yes.
so hard.
The mansplaining
Yeah.
is strong.
I have a really unpopular one.
Okay.
That I think's insufferable. Bono.
Oh no, I mean,
Yep.
I think Bono would be the worst.
so I think we should
might
fuck. We
mansplain.
should fuck, marry, kill our most insufferable like people.
We would
Bono's a good
never.
one.
We can never like. So you got Bono, Elon Musk,
You're gonna have to fucking marry one of these people.
and
Neil deGrasse.
Yeah, we already did Neil deGrasse.
Do you have anyone else who you think is like
who
the
you
worst?
would never. Who's the worst for you? Who you were like, if we had to be married, I would literally be on that Snapped episode, like in a week.
Fuck, I got to think about that. That one's hard.
It kind of is hard.
Yeah,
Like,
because it's this very specific kind of hate. For me, like Bono is like, and
Yeah,
it's
that's a good
unpopular
one.
because he does so much good for the world.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
but
and I
it's
actually
like-
I don't hate old U2. Like
No,
old
I
U2,
don't-
I don't hate
either.
that. Like, you know, fucking give me a Sunday Bloody Sunday all day.
Right.
But like I see, I know exactly what you're talking
People
about.
have
Like
been
a man
that
who
famous-
won't take his sunglasses off inside.
Correct.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not.
A man like who refers to himself in third person, like
No.
Who's like, you know what? Women just need to calm down and be part of the conversation and stop calling people toxic.
Ask me to
Masculinity.
calm.
Stop
Tell me
saying
to
that
calm
word.
down. Literally one time.
I am
Never.
having a real hard time coming up with this person.
who's
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
your like hate? I feel like yours would be. I feel like you like a strong like woke guy. So
Yes.
like somebody that would be like the
You know what?
typical
Billy
like
Ray
nice.
Cyrus
Oh,
would be
That is a hot take.
Billy Ray
I
Cyrus
feel like,
would
or
be
not hot, but why?
insufferable because he's famous adjacent.
Yes.
Still. So
Yeah.
he was super famous. Now
Yeah.
he's just famous adjacent. So he's still chasing the fame.
yeah.
He is, I think, pretty country. Obviously.
Yeah. You know, okay, here's what I'll say about Billy Ray Cyrus. I was stuck in an airport with him on my way to New Mexico because we
yeah,
were
you
on the
said
same
Oh,
plane.
that's right.
And our
Super
flight
nice.
our flight was delayed. I didn't talk to him, but I will say he did not act like a diva, which you
Okay,
could have because
well.
we were stuck for an hour. However, so both sides of this coin. However, there is something a little insufferable about like a man like that who. So I think he's really trying to be a rocker right now, and there was a lot of leather going on and a
Oh,
lot
I
of
don't like
bracelets,
that.
a lot
I
of
don't-
bracelets.
Yeah, he's pretentious.
And
a
he was
little,
very
right? Like,
tan, and like
Yeah.
so that is not my thing. Like so, I can totally.
Yeah,
So
I
he
don't-
seemed
I don't
nice
think
enough.
that you would
but-
like a narcissistic kind of like
Yes.
primpy kind of guy.
Yeah, his hair was very like coiffed, and but coiffed, but trying to look like it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very long. Like he still wants to look like a rock star, but I'm like, you still took some time on that for sure.
Yeah, like an Axl Rose.
Oh,
you're like, ugh.
oh, and Axl Rose is another one. I'm like, no,
you know
thank
that
you.
motherfucker's insufferable.
Insufferable. A ginger with cornrows? insufferable.
Capital insufferable.
Oh my God.
Oh no. Yeah.
I don't know. Now I'm kind of torn. I kind of think I want to stick with Billy Ray.
Stick with Billy Ray.
I love your daughter.
Yeah, because I will say like the number of bracelets put him out of the running for me. I was like, it's too many on one wrist.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of man jewelry. I don't. That's just me. That's not my favorite thing.
But it does scream insufferable.
It does. Like that's not
it. What it screams is I'm trying really hard.
Yeah.
Like what it screams is I'm trying really hard to be a rock star. And I'm like, you don't have to do this.
A casual dude. I don't want a dude that's spending more time in the bathroom than me.
Absolutely.
That's just me.
No, I
do.
I do.
I want you to feel good about yourself, but
also true. These are all just our opinions. You guys.
Exactly.
Yeah. Listen,
hey, different strokes
for different folks.
All right, so
Bono, Billy Ray, Elon Musk.
I know what I'm gonna
do.
Okay. I am going to actually marry Bono because I feel like we could go do some UN work, and I'll feel a little better.
You'll like
about
Amal Clooney.
Yes, I will Amal Clooney you. and I feel like maybe it will be all right. Maybe I can get him to a place where he feels comfortable taking his sunglasses off for even just a moment.
Do you think he'd be like
just
Sting?
Super stoned all the time. Ooh, Sting.
Where he's like
tantric.
I don't have to go to a job, so I have the next like 2.5 days to like tantric you.
I mean,
that's too much.
That's honestly, I feel like that's too. I also feel like Sting might be too much for me. I'm like, that's
Sting's too much
on many levels.
I love them together
on a spiritual level, on like a too long for sex level. Yeah. Like, but yeah, so I'm gonna marry Bono because there's a possibility to do good there. I see an opening.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna fuck Billy Ray.
Okay.
You know, he can achy breaky heart. Like I feel like that was a line dance. Maybe he's got some moves. I don't know. I'll do that.
Unpopular opinion. I really fucking hate that Lil Nas song.
I hate it.
I hate it. I can't stand it.
I think it's
so
fun.
annoying.
I think it's fun.
It's a no for me, dog.
I think it's hilarious, and I love that guy. I think he's hilarious. Lil Nas X is super funny.
I'm excited for his fame. Exactly.
I'm excited for his fame. I'm excited that he's actually like breaking barriers in country music. I just fucking hate that song.
I think it's hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna fuck Billy Ray because why not? When in Rome, we're here. Let's do it.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm gonna kill Elon Musk. There is so little about Elon Musk that I find to be appealing. I think he has this air about him, like he's. Another thing that is one of my biggest pet peeves is when people act like they are self-made in some way. And I'm like, you literally grew up on an emerald farm with just gemstones in your pocket. Literally, he talks about that. He's like, we would run around with.
He's South African.
Yeah, he's South African, and his parents are crazy rich. And he jokes about how they would play with emeralds, like they would just run around with them. Like. And you have other person
have
would
to deep dive either to find some real problematic.
100. 100. But yeah, so I just think it's a no from me with Elon Musk. If I had to hold a conversation with him, I would want to kill him.
So, yeah, I don't like the way he talks either.
I feel like it is just condescending by nature. Like it's not even just
because he's so
women.
Fucking smart. He really is.
He is smart.
Yeah.
But he's
smart.
I like a smart guy, but I don't like a smart guy who wants to make everyone around him feel stupid. And I feel like he does that not just with women. I feel like he does that with everyone.
With everyone.
Yeah. But he also desperately wants to be cool and desperately wants to be liked. And I'm like, I don't like the combination of it makes me feel gross.
There's like, because I met somebody last night that there's a warm smart and a cold smart.
Oh,
absolutely.
Totally.
Warm smart all fucking day. I got a lady boner for that.
Yes.
But yeah, it's difficult to really nail down what the difference is. It's just your character, I guess. Yeah. There's some people that are comfortable in their own skin and where their intelligence just is part of their personality, not something that they're using like as a weapon against you or something.
The vibe I get about Elon Musk is that he was not popular. I don't think he was in on the in crowd at all. And so when he got like a little bit of like fame and notoriety and people started liking him, he took that and like
he's like, I only date models now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, he's just got a vibe about him that I'm like,
Leo would probably be insufferable too.
Ooh,
oh
amen.
yeah, we definitely are all in agreement on that. I think what I would do would be I would marry Billy Ray.
Okay, all right. He's been with the same woman for ever.
I feel like he's the Guy Fieri of this group. I feel like he's probably pretty like chill and country and just like okay. I mean, yeah, the bracelets and stuff. I'd be a little bit like, do you have to though? Like, can you just relax?
How much
with that?
brown leather really needs to be in your closet?
Yeah.
But I feel like he's somebody that would be down with like having a barbecue on the weekend.
I think
do you know what I mean?
Play cards with your friends.
Yeah.
You guys could be in Nashville and literally like have a ranch and like kick it, drink beer. Yeah, he would do that.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not pretentious, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I mean
a little bit.
Probably, but yeah, I'm still like I feel like he's more my speed of just I'm like he'd go camping.
Oh yeah.
Bono and Elon Musk would go camping.
No. They'd go glamping.
And I'm fine with that too. I like both.
I would fuck Bono because I'm here for like 2.5 days. I bet you he does. No, you know what? I don't think that I would enjoy it because I don't like woo-woo sex.
I don't either.
Does Bono do woo-woo sex?
I don't think so. I think we're really projecting. We're projecting on him.
We really are.
We have
I'm like, do we have any evidence?
We have zero evidence that he is a woo-woo sex.
He just doesn't look like he fucks. He definitely looks. He definitely looks like
in that band is the fucking
Edge.
Jesus,
the Edge.
The Edge.
I'll marry Bono to have
Thank you. Proximity to the Edge because I am in fucking love with him.
Speaking again of like a bald man who's
killing
hot.
it. Shave your fucking head. It's so hot. Yeah. I like it. You get me on board if you do it. Prince William. I know that will tip the scales.
I know you're listening. Yeah.
He's like. The next picture.
A review 1 star.
Kate will show up at your door. Like, I'm sorry, excuse me.
You want to say that shit
I
to my
heard
face?
what you said.
What's that hands quote that you had? I hope you know sign language because
all you're about to see is these hands coming for you, bitch.
But yeah, and then I'm gonna have to kill Elon Musk too. There's something really mean about him.
Yeah.
The other two,
he could have bodies in his basement. Yeah, I believe it.
I don't see anything mean about Bono or Billy Ray.
Right.
And there's like a meanness.
Yeah, if I
Elon
found out that Elon
like.
Musk was one of those rich people that pays to hunt other human beings, I'd be I believe that.
Not
yeah.
I believe that he could be. I get that vibe.
Not surprised. Oof, this is really tough for me. And I think I'm going to mix it up a little bit.
Okay.
I am going to marry Bono.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't see him as insufferable as everybody else. Also, the proximity to the Edge. I see a 3-way there that I'd be happy with.
These are all good factors.
Also, think they'd be down. I think they would do it.
Yeah,
I think they've probably done it before.
I think they probably have. And I'm not going to say no. So but I'm going to marry Bono. I agree, Keegan. I think that he's the closest to the nicest of them. And I appreciate intelligence. So I could not marry Billy Ray because I don't want to say he's dumb. And it might be just the thing I pick up from him.
Yeah.
That I need to have someone intelligent to be around me.
Right.
And I don't mean this in a mean or negative way, but I do feel like he is simple.
Yeah,
which is like
100%.
what is appealing to Christina about it is like he's easy.
He's a simple guy.
Yeah, he's like
easy,
I don't mean simple like
not
stupid. Just like
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am going to kill Billy Ray. Just because he is the type of insufferable that I can't deal with. And I am the only person here not killing Elon Musk because you know what, guys? If we're just fucking, I'm down to clown for a day. And I just want to see.
He is the guy that has got loads of accessories.
Yeah.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
That.
Yep.
Yes.
He's not just fucking you. He like opens a drawer and he's like got like these crazy sex toys.
In fact,
that
he's probably engineered them. Yeah. He's engineered his own, but only for private use. He will never mass market these.
He's like, I'm building a rocket to space,
they
and
all
this
have
one will
Teslas.
also take you to space.
They're all Tesla insignia.
Yes. Yeah. You do make a good point there. That's amen. Mm-hmm.
So I would like to spend one night that I will not share with anyone.
Right.
I am because I probably signed an NDA. Of course.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and honestly, why don't you just
not that I would tell anybody.
You should just pull a Leo, put your AirPods in while you're having sex. Then you don't have to listen to him talk down to you while it happens, and you can just enjoy the rest of the rest of the ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he has to have something. Grimes was with him for a while, and she's hot. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm saying I'm calling toys. I guarantee.
I also feel like he's the kind of guy who would put a sleep mask over my eyes, and there we go. We got all that happening. We got a lot happening.
Yep.
You're probably right about that.
And so,
all right,
I like it. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna try it out.
We have 3 different answers, which is amazing.
That's awesome.
That.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So on that note, on the note of insufferable guys that we might want to sleep with or not, we have some new
not the same note at all.
patrons. I know. Look, it was not a good segue.
The opposite note.
It wasn't a good lead in at all to that.
On the completely opposite note.
We have some new patrons.
Yes,
So we have 3 new patrons. It's actually been like 2 weeks since we recorded, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
We never go that long. But we did this time.
I missed you guys so much.
I missed you guys. So we did accumulate some patrons to talk about. We have Shelby. Thank you so much for becoming our patron, Shelby. And we have Donna and we have Gabrielle. And Gabrielle, I knew from high school. Yes. So thank you guys so much. We're so excited to have you in our patron family. Also, we wanted to give just like a little mini shout out to a couple of patrons that we have who have changed their pledges, which is
really
like,
appreciate
It just
that.
makes me feel like I'm PBS.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much for sponsoring us.
Oh my
Put
god!
on your NPR voice and start talking like this.
We really appreciate all of your support.
But we will be getting to you guys. We will be getting your pins and stickers out to you very soon. Thank you so much. And if you want to become a patron, you can find links to our Patreon on our website, myworstatepodcast.com.
Perfect. So now we will take 5 and come back with stories.
And we're back. I will absolutely punch you in the throat, Cassie. I would never actually punch you in the throat, but I think about it.
I ride the line. Okay.
You're really pushing me.
That's it. You're like my mom.
Suppressed rage.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Wow, I feel shamed. I feel like we need to leave now.
Yikes. Okay.
All right, start us off because you got the crazy.
All right,
in love.
I do have a crazy in love this week, and my crazy in love is it's intense.
Oh, I like intense.
So I am reading one from my inbox that's titled "Warm Fuzzy Story" to balance out my life right now.
Excellent.
Oh, yay. Okay.
You're like, I've been inundated with just scary shit for the last
Okay, we'll start with Warm Fuzzy Story. Okay. She said, let's keep this discreet, ladies. I have coworkers that listen to your show and they are active on your Facebook page.
Okay.
Please change names if you happen to read this on air.
Ooh, okay.
It's circa 2004. I'm in my early 20s, going to school and slinging weed as a side hustle. Girl. Yes.
Relatable.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time believing you slung weed.
I didn't, but I knew a lot of people who did.
I was like, wait, what?
I absolutely never slung anything in my life. Like, no. I was not black marketing anything.
I had a time out there because I was like, wait, what?
I'm sorry. Rewind.
Oh my God.
No. I did not. But
She's
I
like,
knew...
I did at that Bible school, bitch.
What? I'm sorry. What? No, I didn't.
Tammy's
but I knew a lot of people who did, and that is a very early 20s or / 2004 situation.
And
Yes.
it's it's fucking pot, man.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I know,
Slinging
but
pot is kind of an
was
interesting
like, that
thing.
was so unpredictable out of your mouth. I was like, wait, what? All right,
I'm just saying I knew her.
Yeah. You're like, I know you.
Girl, I knew you. Yeah.
I had also recently broken up with my boyfriend of 4 years. My girl calls me up and tells me this guy needs a bag. Since he's a mutual acquaintance, I tell her to give him my number. Shortly thereafter, he texts me and I head over to his place and we smoke, chill, and talk. See, that's the problem. And this is why weed needs to be legal. You ain't got to smoke out with your dealer.
Exactly.
You just go in, you buy that shit, you leave.
You Postmates it.
That's damn right.
Exactly.
Yeah. First of all, I have anxiety, and I do not want to sit with you.
The reason I'm smoking this weed is because I'm pretty certain everyone's going to kill me.
The last thing I want to do is sit with a stranger in their home and have to come up with conversation.
Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
I don't want to do that.
Well, it's also unsafe to do, like, as a female. Like, honestly. Like,
True.
Yeah.
I'm interested in where she lives.
Yeah.
Okay, so at any rate, she says, this goes on for a while and we start to become friends. He is also just out of a 3 to 4 year relationship. Since she took off and took their kids, he's looking for a roommate to help with rent and to help fill the void in his apartment. Some friends of mine need a new place, so it works out for everyone. Anyway, because of all of this, we start spending a ton of time together, and since his place becomes the party central, it gets real sexy real quick.
Ooh.
Oh my.
Early 20s, like, fuck pad.
Yeah.
We all had that friend where it's like, that had the spot
it
that
was
everybody
that
went to party,
Yes.
and so many people fucked at.
Talking to you, Jason.
Oh my god.
Everybody
I suppressed those memories of that time in my life. Yeah.
It was Gabe's spot.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Gabe and Chris.
Yeah.
I believe that shit all day. All
It
day.
was the party spot.
Yeah.
It had the blue couch.
Oh god, so much semen on my
stories.
couch.
Oh,
Ew.
okay. This goes on for a few months. At Christmas, I give him a Misfits poster because we're friends with benefits, and that's what you get at FWB.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. A few more weeks or a month goes by, and we just kind of grow apart. It wasn't really meant to be, since we both were fresh out of relationships, and my mom was she was hella sick, had breast cancer, and I had school, work, etc. So cut to early 2009. A lot has happened. My mom had passed away. Oh, it's so sad. I finally graduated, moved out of the city, Chicago, and because of the recession, I'm forced to move back home. I am now back in the burbs.
That's
looking
relatable for sure.
You know,
for a lot
everybody.
of people. Like, that recession was tough.
Yeah. So I hit up Craigslist. It's 2009 and there was no Tinder. So I'm searching M4W section, and lo and fucking behold, guess who it is? I email his ass and ask him if he wants to hang out.
I'm sorry. This is the most like mid 2000
Yes.
story
Oh
I have
my
ever
God.
heard in my life.
It's like Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks.
You've got mail.
You've got
Yes.
motherfucking
Oh
mail.
my god.
I email his ass and ask if he wants to hang out. So we hang out, and some weeks into our seeing each other pretty regularly, he divulges to me on his birthday, shortly before we reunited, he was sitting in his room alone thinking of all the girls he had ever dated. He said he thought of me because he legit looked up and that Misfits poster was on his wall.
Aww.
And in that moment, he wished he hadn't lost touch. He swears up and down that this is true. I am inclined to believe him. Here we are, 10 years this year, and we now have 2 beautiful kiddos.
Oh my god.
Yay.
That is so fucking cute.
I hope that heartwarming story balances out the shit I'm going to share next.
I mean, and also like you found love on
That's
Craigslist.
awesome. Yeah.
Like,
Well, technically-
good for you. I mean, but you reconnected on Craigslist.
That's
like that
cool.
shit, like
Yeah.
you are 1 in a million.
Yeah.
1 in a
Craigslist
million.
should have paid for that wedding.
Honestly.
million. Yeah.
Yeah. And used it for advertising because that happened to literally no
No
one
one
else.
Just that person.
Yeah, just you.
exactly.
Okay. I'll go next. You want me to go next?
Cool.
Okay. When I was 18, 19, I met a friend of a friend, and although I thought he was weird, I got to know him through all of us hanging out together, and he seemed harmless enough.
Okay.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
your
it's a little
barrier
odd.
to entry like gets harder and harder the older that you get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you're 18, 19, you don't fucking meet and hang out with anybody.
Right.
Anybody.
Yes.
You've got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as the years tick by, I'm like, you got to be a pretty fucking special for me to like.
I know.
You gotta
I
be
hung
an A+
out.
human.
There were a lot of people on like the like periphery of my friend group when I was like 19 who, you know, there was like the inner people who we all were comfortable with each other and knew each other. But there was like a few dudes who were like on the periphery who I was like, you guys are weird, but not weird enough that I don't feel like okay with hanging out with you for a weekend. You know what I mean?
Around
Yeah,
other
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked back and forth half-heartedly on my part, and he asked if I wanted to hang out. I meet him in town at the agreed time and location, and he is super grumpy. I have no idea why. He doesn't really say much, just walks into the nearest restaurant and asks for a table for two. As soon as we sit down in the restaurant, he slumps in his chair, gets out his phone, and stares intently at the screen for the entire meal. No. Occasionally muttering something about updates, but other than that, not talking to me and completely ignoring my existence. Even when I try to make small talk with him. I thought about getting up.
You've done this alone by yourself.
Why?
Why am I here?
I thought about getting up and leaving, but damn it, I was hungry and he was buying, so shrug. But you know what? That's the thing too. I'm like, okay, so you're paying for someone else to come eat. You're paying for someone else to come eat,
right?
And ignore them. Like that's what you're gonna do.
What's the point?
Why? Yeah,
I don't get it.
We finish the meal. He pays, never looking up at me or talking. He didn't talk to you for the entire meal.
Wow.
Like, I'm so uncomfortable by that.
So
like,
weird.
Are you going to wear my skin? Are you going to kill me and wear my skin?
Be careful.
Those are the vibes I get from that. We leave the restaurant, and as his bus stop was on my way home, I ended up walking him there. He began some hostile conversation, and I can't remember how it came up, but I said that my parents were out of town for a couple of days. Girl, danger.
Yeah, no.
Red flags.
No.
Don't do it.
Don't give the killer an opportunity.
His reply, so why am I buying your lunch when I could be fucking you on your desk?
I cannot.
Sorry.
Excuse me, sir?
Yikes on many bikes.
Nope
So
on a
many
rope.
bikes. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I said nothing and immediately walked away, leaving him at the bus stop. Needless to say, I never spoke to him again. For context, I never had sex or had even gone on a date before, nor had I ever flirted with this dude to make him think I was interested in being more than friends. Oh no.
Wow.
Like, yeah, the headline of it was like that she thought it was like a friendly, like going out for lunch.
Yeah.
And like,
it ended up being her first date.
it ended up being her first
He
date.
didn't speak with her.
Didn't speak with her, and
And
then said
then-
he wanted to fuck her on her desk.
Yeah, I don't like that. Get the
Gross.
fuck out of
Gross
here.
in every way.
Ugh.
It's so fucking disgusting.
ugh.
Oh man, we got this one
Humans.
from our email.
Worst.
The subject is called damp toilet paper.
No.
Amazing.
Oh, I'm gonna love this.
Amazing.
I can feel it already in
I
my
feel
bones.
like this might be for Keegan.
First of all, damp.
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 Most people don't like moist. I'm gonna go and
damp?
loop in damp.
Damp is.
I mean, it
when you're
evokes
talking
the
about bodies,
same.
damp
Yeah.
is damp and moist.
It evokes the same feeling.
It's
yeah,
no.
both are not.
Both
no
are good.
bueno.
Be
I don't
dry.
like either of those.
Just be dry. Just be dry.
Just be dry. I don't ask for a lot. Like, just be dry, please. God, then we should do that with a Nike symbol. Just be dry.
Just be dry. Message. I still can't believe that this happened. I'm sorry. I'm going to really struggle to keep it together through this email
I
because
can't wait.
I'm like,
This feels so much like one you should be reading. You love this shit.
I do. This is so fucking weird. And it just makes me laugh hysterically. I met this guy called John through some mutual friends. Now, the first red flag was when one of my friends said his family was a little eccentric. But I obviously wasn't thinking about his family. I figured he'd have some funny stories if that was the case, which he did. You know, you're going on a first date.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, so you got a weird family. We all got weird families. Who
cool.
the fuck
Yeah.
cares? You know?
True. Yeah, I don't want anybody judging me based on the weirdest members of my family. Like, please
Same.
no.
Please
yeah.
no. please don't. Yeah, exactly.
Ugh, I just got chills.
But also, I feel like if your family is eccentric enough for someone to warn you about it, like,
Yeah.
because I've got eccentric members of my family, but I don't think
You don't
if
think
I was
like
being set
people
up
would warn?
on a date that they would ever warn anyone.
We got along really well and became friendly pretty quickly. I found that his family weren't that bad. They had a lot of money because he said his parents were very money conscious. And
Oh,
sometimes
so they're rich eccentric. That's a completely
extra.
different. They're like Grey Gardens eccentric. Like, that's different. Like, okay.
I'm here for
Yeah, I'm kind of here for
Gardens.
that. Yeah. Oh my God. Fingers crossed that this is a great garden story.
Oh my God. You guys are not ready for this.
Oh God, I'm so nervous.
He said his parents were very money conscious and sometimes went to extreme measures to avoid wasting money.
Oh, they're going to use rags in the bathroom, aren't they? Oh.
I didn't really question this, but I wish I had.
Oh no.
I can't. I'm like crying right now.
Guys.
So one afternoon, he was driving me home when he informed me that he had to pop into his mom's house before taking me back. I said, that was fine, but I would not just stay in the car because I was not about to meet his mom. Too bad for me. By the time we got there, I was desperate for the toilet.
Oh, no.
So I went to the front door with him, and when his mom opened it, I immediately asked if it was all right to use her bathroom.
Oh, no.
She stood and stared at me with a strange look on her face that I can only describe as irritation for what felt like 20 years before she finally points behind her and tells me where to go.
Oh my God, I'm so scared.
Now,
oh no.
I open the door and I stop in my tracks. The smell that penetrated my nostrils was so inhumane. I almost forgot I was about to pee myself.
Oh no.
The entire bathroom absolutely stank of something fishy and stale.
To describe it as fishy is the worst way you could possibly.
I hold my breath and sit down to do my business, trying to breathe into my top when I notice that the radiator has a row of tiny wet squares along it. I'm confused, and as I search for a loo roll to wipe myself, I can't find one, but luckily I brought my bag in with me and I had some pads in there, so I had no choice but to use one of those.
And I would.
And I would too. But
and
have you guys ever gone to a bathroom like the Venice bathroom? I'm like this. When you go to Venice and you use those bathrooms where you're like, can I hold my breath for the entire time it takes me to
Can I
pee?
just drip dry?
Yeah, I'm shaking it off.
shaking
I'm getting
it.
the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Pee in the ocean, honestly. Just do it.
Oh God.
When
it's a big litter box anyway, right?
Right? When I exit the bathroom, John says he's ready to get going, and I'm eager to leave too.
Okay, you're like,
and
same.
quiz him about what was in the bathroom.
Oh no.
Poor John, because listen, I've got members I've got family members where I'm like, please don't. Like, I don't want to have this conversation. Poor John, because he doesn't want to have that conversation either.
No. In the car, I bring it up, and he smiles ahead at the road. He then tells me in such a calm voice as if he's telling me about the weather.
No, okay, never mind.
He grew up with this.
His mom reuses toilet paper after it's been used.
I knew it. God damn it.
As in, she wipes herself, doesn't dispose of it, puts it on the radiator to dry, and uses it on herself again.
That's how you get an infection. Don't do that.
That's so many things.
There is so much.
Be real.
There is so much bacteria. I just feel like, okay, here's the thing.
I just smell this bathroom right now.
Literally have a
It's like a nursing
constant,
home.
constant UTI.
This isn't better. But I thought it was going to be the kind of thing. Like, have you ever watched? There was a show that ran on TLC for a while,
split the toilet paper
where
in
it
two?
where it was extremely frugal. There were probably people who did
like,
that,
penny
where they
pinchers.
used it was penny pinchers, where they used rags. And so they would use the rag and then they would wash the rag, which is bad enough. Like, I remember watching it and I was just like, oh man, it's the same feeling I feel like whenever you have like cloth diapers,
where
I'm
totally.
like, I know it's okay, but I'm also, and it's good for the environment and like all that shit. I get it. But I'm like, also, I'm in a bathroom where there's just shit rags around, which I'm like, well, I don't know about that. But that is still better than like reusing toilet paper because at least you have a clean rag, right? Like, you're using a new rag every time, so it's like clean.
Yeah.
Listen, splitting 2-ply into a 1-ply. I understand it. Rewashing.
Or just like reusing used, so
how
you
much
have
money are
urine
you
on
saving
that.
because you have to wash that? You have to pay the water bill.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if you're penny pitching,
Well,
you're
maybe
being
that's
really stupid.
Maybe that's or maybe they wash by hand. I don't know. Or maybe that's why she reuses toilet paper. Maybe she's worked the math out and it's cheaper to reuse toilet paper than it is to use a rag.
No.
I don't know.
I hate.
But like, because there's stuff on the toilet paper and then you're re-wiping. Like, it's UTI city.
Yeah, it really is. You are constantly on antibiotics. Just,
I'm like, God, there's got to be a lot of ways you can be frugal. That seems like not the one.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's not the one.
She goes, I can't believe my ears. I don't know whether to scream, cry, or laugh. Before I have the chance to say anything, he tells me, don't worry. She only dries it out when it's liquids. Oh. As if that somehow made it better.
It's not. No, it isn't.
No.
He then told me it was a great way to save money and that we should try it.
No.
Needless to say, I hopped out of that car and never spoke to him or his piss-dripping mother ever again.
I'd be like, you know what? God. You know what? If you could just, I'm just going to tuck and roll, actually. Like, it's fine. Fall right out of this car.
It's just like,
don't worry about me.
And goodbye.
Oh my God.
No, look,
It's
I'm all for being
awkward
frugal,
enough.
but that's not it. That ain't it.
It's really awkward enough to meet parents or family of somebody that you're just recently dating, but like,
and I gave this man the benefit of the doubt, thinking he was going to be embarrassed. Nope.
No, and
sure wasn't.
that would have saved it. Be like, you know what? I'm so sorry. This is what my
we all have a weird family. Like that's
do.
okay. Like that's okay. But that being down with it, that is not okay. Absolutely not.
Yeah. There's now 2 rules. I thought it was just 1 rule to wiping. You know what I mean? And
front
now
to back.
Yeah, exactly. And now there's 2. Don't reuse the toilet paper.
Yeah, maybe use something clean.
Yeah,
just something clean. That's like, honestly, that's where our bar is at. We're just like, is it clean?
And be dry.
Be dry.
I would rather drip dry.
Honestly,
would rather drip dry.
Yeah. And the smell in that bathroom.
Oh my God, it smells like a fucking nursing home.
On a heater. So you've got hot piss.
Hot piss.
Hot piss and like also the vague smell of like burning paper.
I am gonna gag. This is the fucking grossest thing we've ever discussed.
I don't know. The foot in the mouth
Yes.
was pretty bad.
Really?
And we had the story where she like chewed on her own toenails. That was pretty gross.
This is gross.
At least it was her toenails.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
Oh,
that's amazing.
Is that what she offers to her guests?
Well, clearly she didn't want to. She judged.
She's like,
oh, that's right.
If you want to go in there, that's what
like
she said.
Every man for himself.
Like, good luck.
Wow.
Oh, I hate all this, and you're gonna hate all of this.
Oh,
yeah.
Hate it?
Yeah, I don't know if I should be excited or like terrified.
I don't know where to. I don't know. It's not pretty.
Okay.
Let's take it this way.
Okay.
So today for Crazy in Love, I'm going to share the story of Katherine Knight.
Oh God. Oh no.
Hey, by the way, guys, trigger warning, because this involves child abuse, child neglect, child sexual harm.
It literally involves like everything. Anything that can trigger you.
Partner violence.
Yeah.
Yes, there's partner
Katherine
violence.
Knight.
There's animal violence. There's
everything.
There's everything.
So yeah, proceed with caution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Fucking
gross.
Yay. And yes, it is gross.
Oh, it's
and
so
it's
gross.
terrible.
But
she is
interesting. It's so interesting.
Be interesting.
Ooh, all right. Take me on this journey.
Okay.
I'm ready.
This is a wild ride, guys.
Oh my.
So this takes place. So what I couple sources I used was this Australian show called Beyond the Darklands. One of the people that was on there was Peter Lalore, who literally wrote the book on this crime, which is called Bloodstain, which was very interesting. And so some of the other sources I used after seeing that were Wikipedia, of course. Funny enough, though, as I was going through some of the Wikipedia stuff, I was finding some things that didn't match up or line up with some of the things that the family members and the interviews that I saw said. So I'm going to go by what I feel like is what I would call the horse's mouth on this. So
go for it.
I want to say also like case file, because it's a case file is an Australian.
That is where most of the information on Wikipedia came from.
Oh, really?
And it doesn't necessarily line up with what was on. And I saw that it was credited on there because I almost listened to the case file and I was like, this isn't what
they
people
usually
said.
do a really thorough job on
Thought
case
so
file
too.
Yeah.
And it was literally like little minor things that only I will probably care about. But I was like, for me, I kind of felt like I would rather go by the people who were there that were interviewed, what they said themselves, and the person who literally, again, wrote the book on the subject.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do it.
All right. A little bit about Katherine Knight. She was born in October 1955 in Tenterfield, New South Wales. She was the daughter of Barbara and Ken Knight. She was the younger of a twin girl set. So Barbara, her mother, had actually been married prior to that to another man who she had, I believe, 4 children with. Ken, who she ended up marrying, was actually a coworker of her husband's at the time, and they had an affair.
Scandalous.
Yeah. And
not a good start.
Yeah. So that's how that relationship started. There's a lot of information that I'd heard and seen talked about that said that their relationship, Barbara and Ken's relationship anyway, was very, very volatile, like extremely volatile, very abusive toward each other, but to the point where Ken was so demanding at sex that he would demand sex at least sometimes 10 times a day. Like he was, and forcefully.
Time out.
Wow.
The fuck out.
Okay.
I have questions. 1, who has the time?
Right.
Yeah.
10 times.
We all have jobs.
You got kids. You got
And
shit to
kids.
do. Like,
And-
how do you have time? And 2, why?
Fuck, I barely got time for 1 a day.
Ow.
All right, now-
10. How many hours a day are you even awake?
And
honestly, it's like, so you're doing it like every other hour?
And
really?
And apparently Barbara was very open about this with her children, and her children
Man.
would
Don't like
see,
that.
her children
No.
would see this too, like him forcing himself on her. And she would be like, and apparently in one of the conversations that Kathy had with Barbara, I guess there was somebody who was trying to have sexual advances on her, and she's like, I don't want to do this, and her mom was just basically like, well, suck it up. Like,
So
Oh,
these are the
no.
messages that you are getting from a young age.
very
that,
young
like,
age, yes.
Yeah. Oh, no. Nope. No.
She also Catherine claims that when she was in this early abusive home, basically this is her mentorship to people who are beating each other to death,
Right.
practically. She also claims that she was sexually assaulted by multiple members of her family, not including her father. Her father was not one of those people.
I'm shocked
Not
by
that fucking matters. At
I'm
this point.
honestly
Like,
shocked by
I
that
know.
because he seems like a sex
The
addict
one.
to the point where it's like if he's not
Aggressive.
getting it
Yeah.
from where he needs to get it from, he's going to try and get it from other people.
Kind of wonder then if he was, and then there wasn't something kind of twisted, because I've
Sure.
seen examples of that where they're like, yeah, it was like all these people, but it
Because
wasn't.
it wasn't
This
it wasn't
person.
the one
And it's
person
like,
who you think
and
would be doing it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
was that
person.
Yeah. That
or
person.
like that twisted need to protect that person.
Yeah.
And maybe that could be part
Yeah,
of it.
and who knows? I don't want to
Listen, they
cast aspersions on this
Yeah.
piece of shit.
They do say it's like claims, right? But they do say that multiple family members do also corroborate this story, and many of her psychologists think that she is not lying about this.
Well,
So-
yeah, and there's so much like fucking unfathomable shit going on in front of the eyes of this whole family. So
Right.
it's not difficult to imagine that.
Right. If that's
You know.
your normal, like if
Yeah.
that's like your baseline for what is like normal in your family, I can't imagine that there's a whole lot that you would see that would make you be like, oh, I'm concerned. You know, you just be like, oh, this is how we operate.
Right.
Yeah, this
You
is
know?
normal. This is what
this is
love
fine.
is.
This
Yeah.
is fine.
It's fine. So I'm sorry. So her family is living in Aberdeen, country New South Wales in Australia, and she is going to school, and she's described in school as kind of being a loner and a bit of a bully. And on the show, they were talking about stories of her abuse, even against her own twin sister. Like she's like that, where they would aggressively fight with each other. She'd get in fights with, boys on the schoolyard. And she specifically, it seems as though went after boys. Like she would fight boys. Like she didn't seem to fight other girls, but would aggressively fight with boys, even a teacher as well. So there was a lot of these like kind of wild outbursts that she would have. But she was known to kind of have, again, these wild jolts, but of course as well, these jolts between kind of like this major aggressive behavior to kind of a mild model student, which I find very funny that anyone would use the words mild or model student when she left school at 15, unable to read or write. So
What?
yeah. So I don't know what kind of model student is capable of.
Well, what kind of fucking school is that? Like where you can
Leave.
get to 15 where you can't
Where
read?
you can't read or write.
Yep. never learned to read or write.
Whoa.
Very basic level. Could barely even write her own name.
Sad.
So far, this sounds like a person who was really failed on every count.
level.
Yeah.
And
Many
every
levels.
single adult.
And you will see
failed
that
you.
she has failed. She has been failed by not only just multiple systems here have absolutely failed her. Her parents, her school.
Listen, I know what's coming, and literally nothing ever could like justify what she does. But so far in this story, I'm like, okay, everyone has failed you in your life.
Right.
And you've had no
real
positive
course
role
of-
models.
Right.
Yeah.
No real good course of action here. So, very soon, so she drops out of school at 15, and this is kind of apparently not very uncommon in this area. And where she grew up, like, this is like the community is very farming. There's a lot of like agriculture, things like that. And her family has grown up in this business of working, at the abattoir, which is basically a slaughterhouse. And this is something that she has dreamt of doing her whole entire life.
Okay.
And
dreamt of working at a slaughterhouse.
literally,
Well,
quote
I think
unquote,
if-
her dream job.
I think if I remember correctly, like, because I also watched the Born to Kill on this, like, this is how this town where she was from, like, made their economy was based on this. So it's kind of like when you go to like West Virginia and people are like, all my life I wanted to get in the mines.
Yeah.
Because it's
Sure.
like your
You make good
parents
money,
and your
and that's
parents'
how you make
parents,
money.
and like that's how everything runs, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
Ugh.
Well, before she got out of school, she started actually working as a clothes cutter before she landed her dream job. She had tried out to get into to this abattoir for quite a while and wasn't able to get it, but then she finally does get her dream job at the local abattoir. I'm just going to keep calling it a slaughterhouse because that just is what it is.
Yeah.
She moving into one of her favored roles, which is as they called it on the show I watched, a boner.
But
I love
I'm
you.
12. Where she was giving a prize set of butcher knives. So these are a literal prize set of knives. She carries them around. This is her prized possession. She would, to even the point, hang them above her bed at night because she wanted them around her at all
imagine
times.
if you came home and it was a one night stand
Oh,
and
Jesus.
like you woke up in the morning, you're like a little drunk when you got there, you don't really remember what happened, and you wake up in the morning and there's knives.
Well, they
I don't like
explained how
that.
she decorated her house at one point, having like, like heads of like animals on the wall and like fucking like crazy shit.
So
And they
many
showed it.
red flags all over
They
the
showed
place.
a video of it on the show I watched, and it is bananas.
Yeah. Like
Bananas.
it is. I've seen that too. And it's just like,
There's like shit hanging from the ceiling.
Dude, see something, say something. Honestly,
Right.
like that's what it made me think. I'm like, if I walked into a house and saw that, I'd be like, I need to call like the TSA or something. Something.
I know.
I need to call
I see
national
airport-
security.
Airport security.
I see something and I'm saying something.
Those people
This
make
is
like
not
$12 an hour. Don't call TSA, but maybe call.
right. Calling somebody because it's so
I'm calling
not
NASA.
right.
You're that meme of that guy on the phone where he's like, "No, we can't do this."
That is what is in my heart, honestly.
9-1 fucking 1 right now.
Christina walks out of that house and is like, "No, ma'am.
You're like,
Actually, I have to make a call and I need to step outside
to
to
step
do it.
I'm gonna be right back."
I do the same for that fucking piss bathroom too. I'd be like, I need to make a call.
This feels unsafe. We can't do this. I'm saving you from your own UTIs. We're going right now.
Oof. Everybody's getting put in a home. Things aren't right. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes.
So, all right. Catherine meets her first husband, David Kellett, in 1973.
How does this person get a husband? I'm sorry.
Well,
How?
we'll talk a little bit about that.
It's when you watch like Doomsday Preppers and you're like, how?
You just
like,
find
how do
another
you have-
doomsday prepper is what you find.
I can't. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
There's a dog for every bath.
By the way,
You are right.
Oh, there is a dog.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't doubt this. Continue.
Catherine meets her first husband, David Kellett, in 1973 at the abattoir. He had been friends with her brother, and so that's how they met, kind of through mutual relationship. They were married in 1974 on basically Catherine being like, "Hey, so we're gonna get married," and he's like, okay.
Have you seen those stories in the wedding shaming group where they're like, I'm about to have a secret, or I'm about to have a surprise wedding. The guests and the groom don't know. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh.
The groom doesn't know, like, this can't end well. Can you fucking imagine?
No.
Even if you're in a good relationship, if you show up and they're like, surprise, it's our wedding day.
No. Never do that. Never, ever do that.
It's not that surprise. I mean, he does agree to it. He's like, she was like, hey, we're going to get married. And he's like,
it's a bad way to start a marriage.
Okay. Yeah. I guess. Sounds good. It's that time in our lives, I guess, where you're 18. Better go ahead and get you married off. So they do. They're married in 1974. And on their wedding night, David apparently had been drinking for 2 days straight before the wedding.
It's a good sign.
Like you do. Mm-hmm. Like you do when you're talked into getting married. And
I'm feeling real secure about it, actually. Yeah.
The funny thing is too, is if you see them together, she's like almost a head taller than him, but actually they're kind of cute together. Like it's weird because you're like, you know how horrible this turns out, but but she's taller than him, and you can almost see that in the pattern that she creates for herself, that she likes picking men who are maybe a little bit not as strong as her.
Which is why I honestly think it was like some male figure that was abusing her.
Well, obviously it was. I mean, she says she was abused by a male figure. Like she says she's sexually abused. She just says it wasn't her father.
Yeah. Which is why she has to have that power.
There's clearly a power struggle. Something also too, I mean, there's obvious mental issues too, which come up as well. Mm-hmm. On their wedding night, the actual evening that they're married, David wakes up to being strangled by Katherine. Ask me why.
Why?
She explained it's because she was furious that he had only performed 3 times on their wedding night. And in this show, it was stated that her mother had said that she had had sex 5 times on their wedding night, and she would not be outdone.
By your mom? That is so fucking gross. Also, Mom, don't have this conversation with your fucking daughter. Why are you telling me that you had
sex 5 times with my father?
Ew. You on every level.
I don't like that.
And also, not a reason to choke
strangle
out your...
No. Yeah. So you're not going to strangle Anthony if he doesn't perform 5 times on your wedding night.
For fuck's sake, absolutely. Look, listen, I'm going to be...
You better game up.
Did anyone actually fuck on their wedding night?
Aren't you tired?
I didn't.
Not gonna lie, I feel like we maybe did, and I'm gonna say it was probably lackluster considering we were both pretty
just exhausted.
Well, I mean,
tired.
and here's the thing:
we did to say we did kind of thing.
I had this conversation.
Yeah,
I had this conversation with our friends, who I won't name on the podcast, where she was saying how they were so tired. She fell asleep in the hallway of the hotel. She's tired. And when they went to bed, she was literally they were drunk, and she was literally in and out real quick just to say we did it. She's but we're not here to actually have sex.
Not gonna do this.
Yeah, because you're tired.
Also, I want you to get hard so you can put it in for 1 second and we're done.
Yeah. In and out. Good night.
No, I was serious. That's all.
That's it.
Oh.
No, but the idea of doing it 3 times after
I'm
the
tired.
Entire wedding day.
And if you only did it 3 times, I'm going to choke you.
No.
You're going to wake up
being
fucked
me
choked.
3 times, I would choke you.
And
just because.
Once again, who has
I'm tired.
The time? At least American weddings, they go until
it's all night.
At least if you're at a wedding that ends early, it ends at 10 or 11.
Exactly.
If you're at a wedding that ends late, it ends at 1 or 2.
Yours is 2.
Oh, yeah, ours
sure.
is going to end
4.
soups late. And so I'm who has times for 5? Who has time for 5 times?
Do it the next morning in a loving, gentle way.
Ugh,
and it's going to be amazing.
Cassie's
absolutely not.
Too.
And beautiful.
That's disgusting. Make that stop immediately. All right. So she choked out her husband on their wedding night because he only performed 3 times. So this is going to be a really good relationship.
Great start to a marriage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the best.
No.
Yeah. Well, the marriage was particularly violent. And on one incident after David had returned home, this is just the beginning of the violence, even to the point where even Barbara, his mother-in-law, warned him and said, be careful with this one. she'll fucking kill you if you get out of line, basically.
Okay, so that's her daughter.
Yep.
Honestly, like I take,
if my mom
I
said
would
that
take
to
that
Chris-
really seriously. If somebody's mother was like, listen.
Right. Parents are conditioned to see the best in their children.
Yeah.
In general. So if your parent, in general, I mean, there are exceptions, but like if your parent is like, no, she like is actually dangerous. And she might like, that's why I take it seriously too whenever like parents like turn their kids in for shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you have to be at a point where you're like,
yeah.
Someone told me that, I'd fucking Homer Simpson right through the bushes.
Yeah, absolutely. We're moonwalking right out of here. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Well, on one particularly violent evening, David, who returned home late from a darts tournament, Kathy was very pregnant at the time, and she was pissed. He came home late from this event. He said he was going out to have drinks with friends and do this dart tournament. The dart tournament ran late. He came in the door and she fucking met his head with a skillet.
Oh my God.
Causing a skull fracture, sending him to the hospital for a week with a skull fracture.
Oh my God.
When he returned home, he had found all of his clothes had been belts,
A skull
shoes,
fracture.
everything
A
had
skull
been
fracture.
burned.
She fucking waiting to
fucking-
exhaled him.
Yeah, she Angela
Burned.
Bassetted the fuck out of his shit.
Police wanted to charge her, but she had convinced David not to press charges. So
That's a crazy in love. I always find
Yes,
that
yeah.
like interesting whenever people are like,
he's the typical abused.
yeah,
Yeah.
And she
where-
is the typical abuser.
yes, where they can convince you that like, no, it's fine. And you're like, oh, I just came home with a fucking skull fracture.
It's
But
so
okay, I guess it's
sad.
fine.
And I have no clothes, no shoes, no belts, no everything I have. You've
like,
burnt.
it's so sad. It's so sad.
And you have convinced me it's okay.
Yeah,
That's
and
exactly what
it
it is.
doesn't get talked about like for
It's the same
men,
thing.
but
It's
it's
the
the
same, like,
same
mental manipulation.
mechanism.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it's, well, and a lot of these guys that, people have talked to are like, what kept bringing you back? And here's the thing. There's a lot of this the guys are like, well, she was great in bed.
it had to be more than that.
It has to be
though.
more than
Yeah.
that. And I'm going to say this as because I do believe that I think that I don't want to like toxic masculinity once again, but what I do want to say is that guys are very, as much as women are like, oh, I can't say that I'm being abused. A man being beat up by his wife. Why would you keep going back? You're
Well-
not strong enough to leave. Is gonna be an extra layer of like, well, she had that good puss. Got to keep going back.
Here's the thing about toxic masculinity. It's not about like every man being toxic.
No.
What it's about is about a system that creates this
Absolutely.
problem because
we should not.
We
you
should
let a
not.
woman beat you up.
Right. That's a toxic
that's what it
system.
is.
We shouldn't have a system where men feel like they can't come forward and say when they are being abused.
Absolutely.
But we do because we have this idea that men always have to be super masculine, super strong all the time.
Right.
And that's what the problem is. That's what we're combating. Like
Yes.
that's what we're fighting against. We're not fighting against men. We want you guys to feel like you can come forward
Yeah.
in situations like this.
If you want to cry at a movie, you should be able to fucking cry
Absolutely.
at a movie.
Right.
You should not
and
mean
it shouldn't
you're less
be
masculine.
Yeah, it doesn't threaten your masculinity.
That's
like
what it is.
that that's what's so strange about it. And it makes
so
me
much.
and it makes me so sad in situations like this because
Yeah.
it probably did contribute to him allowing it to go on for so long.
Exactly.
Because how do you tell people that you're being abused by your wife?
Yeah.
Right.
Like in a system that tells you that is unmasculine and unacceptable.
Yeah.
You know?
You're going to let
So
your wife do
sad.
that to you? That's
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
crazy. So, that's just one of the many situations that comes about. In 1976, after the birth of their daughter, Melissa, David decides to move to Queensland with another woman. He actually has gotten another woman pregnant and moves to Queensland with her, and because he's had enough.
Yeah.
He's had enough. He's like, this is a fucking enough. The very next day after he moves to Queensland, she is seen in town wildly wielding the baby carriage down the main street. Police are called. She is literally
You got to take that baby.
She is-
David, you got to take that baby with you.
swerving the cart all over the place, like this baby carriage all over. She's wildly going down the street like a maniac. So people call
Imagine
the
if
police.
that was your mom.
So
Like,
Christina called the police.
Christina
Yeah, I
saw
did.
that shit.
I
Christina
definitely
saw that.
did. And I
She
was like,
was on the phone immediately.
She's like, no, I'm sorry.
Definitely. I didn't even have
or whatever
cell
they
phones.
use in
I actually
Australia.
had to walk to the phone booth at that year.
Like,
I was like, I got a quarter in my pocket, put it in.
Like a dime at the time.
That's your special 911 dime.
Yeah.
Like that's the one you keep in your
Well, you
pocket
had to call
for
the operator because
emergencies.
there was no 911 at the time.
Oh yeah,
Or 999, whatever it was back then.
Yeah.
Or there. So she was walking through the main street. Police are called. She's arrested, but she's not sent to prison. She's sent to St. Elmo's, which is
St. Elmo's Fire.
Exactly. It's St. Elmo's Fire.
She hangs out with Demi Moore.
It's a facility for like a mental health facility.
Right.
And she's diagnosed with postpartum. So they're like, she just had a baby. This must be postpartum. She's going to walk it off. It'll all be fine.
Also, that's not how postpartum works at
No.
all.
And apparently after spending 2 weeks, they're like, you know what?
You're fine.
You're fine.
Soup's fine. We fixed your depression in 2 weeks.
It's fine.
Like, I want to know what they did to her if they fixed her depression in 2 weeks.
It's
Can
so
I get
fine
some?
that she literally, like, very soon after that, takes Melissa, her 2-month-old, and places her on her stroller on a railway track right before a coal train is due to come through.
No.
Luckily, a local man who was foraging in the area spotted her
Christina.
and removed the
Such a busybody.
removed the stroller right before the train came. Like literally right before.
Oh my God.
So right after she drops this baby
Yeah, you
off on the
legit
train.
tried to murder your baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100% had full intention on murdering your baby.
Put the pram right on the tracks, walked away. In the meantime, she had stolen an axe and was running through the streets threatening people. She was once again sent to, guess where?
St. Elmo's.
St. Elmo's. Not prison, not jail. St. Elmo's.
Well, I mean,
Where?
it's obvious that she's sick. Obviously.
Yes,
Obviously.
clearly.
So legitimately, she is sick, has been sick.
She
for a
needs
long
to be
time.
treated.
She needs
I'm
to be
fine with
treated.
that. Like,
But she
She
signs
has
herself
committing
out the next day.
crimes.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Why
All
are
right.
you in a mental health facility that you can sign yourself out of?
The
Because
next day.
I could almost get on board with being like, okay, yeah, maybe she needs treatment.
needs to be
clearly,
committed.
like she needs treatment. However, you need
It's
to
also
be in
my
a
preferred. I would say it was preferred. If it was me, I would say that she clearly needs help. This is a preferred treatment.
Yeah.
But to be able to sign yourself out the next.
well,
That's not
because
okay.
you need to be put
You
in
attempted
like
murder.
there's a criminal element to it
That's
where
right.
it's just like you need to be involuntarily committed.
Right.
Like where they decide when you get to be released, and it should be longer than 2 weeks
Right.
because I'm
It
sorry.
should definitely be longer than a goddamn day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't like fix whatever this problem is that quickly. And also, why the fuck the first time I'm like, okay, 2 weeks and you just gave the baby back, like it's fine.
Yeah.
God,
That's
the
totally
fucking
cool.
70s.
Right. Exactly right. So, yeah. So, oh, Jesus. Shortly after when she was sent, so she got out of this, signing herself out the next day. She goes to pick up her baby, and David finds out, and he is like, you know what? She needs me.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
That's
good.
yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, this is like,
The baby needs
no.
him right now. Oh no!
You and I were on the same page. We're
I was like,
sweet. He's
oh
gonna
great,
come get that
he's
baby.
gonna come get
Yeah.
the baby because
No.
that is legit.
No,
That is legit.
Fuck
But
Kathy.
he
Kathy
finds
does
this
need
out
help.
because shortly after she's out of the facility again, she goes to a neighbor asking for help. Somebody who might be a coworker as well. They came over to her house, saying basically she's like, please come over. I need you to help take me to the baby to the doctor. When they get there, one of the teenage daughters comes in, helps her grab the baby. Catherine slashes her in the face with one of her knives and demands to be taken to David's mother's house. She's like fucking furious that he left her. So he's like, the fuck. They are able to make it to a service stop station where they were able to contact police, and police were able to disarm her. But again, David hears about this and he's like, I'm coming home. You need help. I'll be there for you.
No,
Don't fucking
you know
worry.
what? Your baby needs help. Maybe take your baby.
That's what I'm saying.
And let Catherine do whatever
Catherine needs to do, right.
Whatever
Right.
Catherine does.
So he returns to Aberdeen, and she again was sent away to a psychiatric hospital, released.
Is there some kind of like 3 strikes rule about this? Like at some point, do you like What's going on?
She literally causes such a scene at the service station that, I mean, I saw reports where it said she held a child hostage, which on the show that I watched.
So many crimes.
Yeah. So exactly. These are actual crimes.
These are legitimate crimes.
When I was listening to it, the interviews, the people that they interviewed had said that they were able to make the stop because they said they needed gas, and she basically was holding this family hostage. She said that they were able to let one of the children go because they had said he had asthma. But then in some of the reports that I read, it said that she had actually taken this child hostage with a knife, and that the police were able to disarm her with brooms. So I'm not sure exactly.
With brooms? I'm sorry, you just glossed right over that.
Wow.
Well, I know, because I'm not actually sure if that one's true, because that's not the interview, actually.
I mean, it is a funny mental image.
All these things, like we said, she's obviously really, really sick, but she's also committing crimes.
Yes, that's my point.
Where's the fucking accountability? Because that's what happens, at least here. It's like, even if you are deemed like you're having a psychotic break, when you commit crimes whilst on that psychotic break,
right?
Yes, you're still criminally
charged.
So what the fuck is happening? With the police in this
you
town?
may be sentenced to a psychiatric facility, but
Correct.
you have to like do your sentence in that facility. It's not as though you can just be like, 2 weeks and we're good, or I can sign myself out, or like anything like that. That's what is wrong with your system.
You're spending your actual sentence for your crime in the mental facility.
Right. Yeah.
That's what this is.
And we're talking like attempted murder. We're talking kidnapping. Yep. We're not talking about like destruction of property or whatever.
Breaking and entering.
Yeah. It's not that shit.
You broke a window.
Yeah.
It's assault. It's insane.
Assault with a deadly weapon. Mm-hmm. I mean, list them off. I mean, we could keep on.
Right. I mean, I don't think
this
anyone.
Is their third trip to a psychiatric facility.
No one in this room would get that kind of like treatment. Not here.
Yeah.
No, hell no.
And nor should we.
No.
Yeah.
She is diagnosed, though, at the psychiatric hospital with a personality disorder, and is released to David and her mother, who she was on her way to. Who
created the personality disorder?
No.
Oh, David's mother.
Oh, she's on her way to fucking attack.
Can you imagine if that was like your son's like ex-wife? I'd be like, David, listen.
No.
Yeah. So after the release, they went to pick up Melissa, the daughter from Barbara and Ken. So
that's
their parents.
Oh, I am not letting Barbara and Ken anywhere near my child.
Yeah, Barbie and Ken don't get.
Oh my God, Barbie and Ken.
Just now. That's cute.
No.
Cute, but also not cute.
You're like cute, but I hate it.
No.
So they go pick up Melissa at their house. Barbara comes out of the house raring to go, and she fucking comes after David and attacking him, blaming him for Catherine's behavior and the fact that she had this basically
you know what that is? That's projection, because you should blame your fucking self for Catherine's behavior.
True, but you would actually have to look at yourself.
Yeah, but you're projecting onto poor David.
So guess who doesn't like that? Catherine. She gets out of her fucking car and she punches her mom in the face. She's like, I guess Catherine's like, if anybody's going to be beating David, it's going to be me. Bitch, back on.
I mean, this would be like low-key a situation where Christina and I are across the hall. Like, we're like, we open the windows. Oh. Looks like the neighbors are going at it. Catherine just punched her mom in the face.
And she got knocked the fuck out. Yeah, so she's totally fine. Sounds like she's completely okay to be released from the psychiatric hospital.
Clearly.
Yeah, violent. Yep, sounds good.
She went a whole hour without punching somebody? Cool. Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
After more violence and a second child, they have a second child, Natasha, in 1980. She decides to leave David in 1984. She's like, you know what? I've had about enough of this relationship.
Wow.
Yeah.
I only want you when you don't want me.
I guess.
Yeah, wow.
Well, he was on a truck run. He had been driving truck, and he came back home to find her gone, basically. It was like, deuces.
Honestly, she ghosted. She invented ghosting.
Best thing that ever happened to you, David. Best thing that ever happened to you.
Well, David's alive, so it was the best thing that ever happened to him.
Right.
She would have killed you.
Yeah. He lived through that relationship, and that is a lot more than I can say about a future boyfriend.
Right.
In 1986, Kath met David Saunders. People called him Sandy.
Another David. Jesus.
Yeah. A few months into the relationship, he moved in with her and her daughters. But jealousy soon started. She was very quick to be like, you're cheating on me, and accusatory in the relationship. And on one night, in May of 1987, Kathy took his dingo pup and slit his dingo pup's throat.
Ooh. On that, I'm going to take a second.
So I should have said trigger warning. I'm so sorry, because it's tough. I mean, like, honestly,
anytime
this whole
it's
story
animals,
needed a trigger warning. And from this point forward, like, I mean, we've talked about this is
abuse. Yeah. The worst.
The story is very wild. So she literally does this. She slits this dingo dog's throat just to prove a point that basically this is what she's capable of if he has an affair on her. Like, just to say, like, hey,
please tell me he left her right away.
Oh, he doesn't. No.
Oh my fucking God. Oh
she
my
got
God.
the magic pussy. In June of 1988, in fact, they have a daughter together. Her name's Sarah. They buy a home together and move into this home when she's about 6 months old. After one particularly heated argument, she accuses David of having an affair. She took a hot iron, I'm ironing my clothes. I'm taking this hot iron, smacks him across the face with it, and stabs him in the stomach with scissors.
Oh my God.
Yep. He left to go into hiding after that because he was like, you can't just break up with her.
I really want to talk to the law enforcement who were in charge, because I'm just like, how many fucking crimes, how many people does she have to hurt?
Oh, you want to get real pissed?
You
want to get real pissed? Because when he does come out of hiding and comes to get his fucking daughter, Kath had actually put a protection order out against him.
Wow.
Who's in charge? I want to speak to your manager.
I was just going to fucking say that
right now.
We're definitely not using our customer service voices.
I honestly, I've got that Kate plus 8 haircut right now. Like, I'm angry.
This is the thing. We see this story all the time in the reverse, right? Where men control a relationship. She is literally, it's kind of almost a quote unquote role reversal where she's like, no, honey, we're going to be fine. This is going to be great. Talks them back into the relationship. Fucking does it again.
I feel like if you get stabbed,
it's a cycle
with some scissors.
No,
and you go and tell somebody
that was
maybe they should do something at that point. They stabbed you with scissors.
Yeah. He was done after that one.
Oh,
yeah, a fucking hot iron to the face. Oh, bitch, you can fucking get the fuck out of here. In 1990, though, she gives up on this relationship with him because she's already got her sights set on another guy. This guy is
lucky guy.
Yep. John Chillingsworth. They're only together, and Kathy ends up having her fourth child with him, a son. They're only together for, like I said, 3 years before she leaves him because, once again, she's got her sight set on another guy. There's multiple relationship issues with that
people, but they can't leave her.
That's
so the tally, we're up to 4 kids.
Yes. She's 4 children.
That's the saddest
3 daughters
part.
and 1 son. And in this relationship, she has actually been having an affair already with a guy named John Price. Everyone calls him Pricey. Pricey was the father of three, 2 of which had lived with him, his youngest daughter living with his ex-wife. Kathy joined them in their home. Somewhat, it feels like uninvited, but like also kind of like, hey, I lives here now.
Oh no,
mine's now.
You're mine's now. In 1995, it is well stated though that many people knew like in Aberdeen is not a large city. It's a town where like people know things. Their reputation has gotten around. This family is well known. Like not only her, but like her family. Everyone knows about this family.
Well, listen, if I lived in a small town and you've got the crazy lady who like stabs people and fractures skulls and leaves their stroller on train tracks, like I feel like we would know. Yeah.
John had worked at the local mines and had been working and making really good money. In 1998, they had actually a terrible fight because John refused to marry her. He's like, I'm not marrying you. And then she ended up finding his will. And in the will, he left everything to his children and his ex-wife, whom he had still, I guess, somewhat kind of had feelings for, but never had any like ill will toward, and was like, I'm leaving everything to my family.
Right.
My children are young. She's the one who's going to need it. Like, this is where my money is going to go.
The absolutely correct and noble thing to do.
100%. Well, she doesn't like this very much. In fact, she ends up getting a video recorder and videos evidence of, quote, stolen kits in his house. He had dug into the trash bins at his work and got an old expired first aid kits from his job.
Yes, I remember this part
from his workplace.
Yes, this is so
and
fucked.
It's so fucked up that even he is literally known as one of the best workers. His boss is absolutely just verklempt in the fact that he has to fucking let him go. He's very upset. He's like but he has to because it's company policy. Yep. Because technically it is stolen goods. Even though it was trash, it was stolen off the property. And because of this, he loses his job. And not only does he lose his job, he loses his fucking pension. Everything he's worked for. So you would think,
I hate her so much,
this would be the end. And he does go home and he kicks her out of his fucking house. He's like, get the fuck out. Only a few months later, though, they're reunited. I mean, honestly. The fuck?
I'm fascinated.
I know.
I'm fascinated by people like this because I'm just like, man, I feel like I would.
It's really difficult though. And I want to be cautious before we get too far into the whole, like, how could they go back and stuff like that. Not to shame people that do spend years in abusive relationships because none of us have been.
I'm not
abused,
talking about him.
luckily.
What I'm talking about is I'm fascinated by people like Katherine Knight that can that have that kind of magnetism that can convince people to come back to them over and over again.
It is a
I'm
power.
not faulting the person who's being abused because there's very clearly the other person has some kind of hold and magnetism, and I don't know what that is. And I find that fascinating.
She's legitimately crazy.
Yes, and everyone knows it. And everyone knows it, and she still has no problem, like, getting... It's like Black Widows are the same thing. Like, it's fascinating to me because I'm just like, you have some kind of charm and charisma that I have no idea about. Like, I don't understand how you are able to be that way. Like, it's insane to me. Like, I don't know.
It's really difficult to understand, but it happens to a lot of people because it turns it into the cycle because you've seen the good person. And so all you can ever hope for is to see that good person again.
Yeah.
You know, it's with any abuser in any part of your life, in any situation.
When it's good, it must be good.
Right.
You know, like, or you feel like it's very, very good.
It has to be that extreme because the good's got to be amazing.
Right.
For you to deal with that much bad.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, Cass found John's will, like I said, went through all that. He ends up deciding to go back to her at this time, and even his friends were like, I can't believe you would go back to this woman.
What if that was your dad? Can you imagine trying to convince your dad that, like,
her kids were literally being interviewed and we're talking about this, and it just
kids
were being interviewed, and it was heartbreaking to hear them
because
tell the story.
you know, when you see your parent, you're just like, you know,
well, and they were young, so they really even thought they were like, they didn't really, I don't know if they knew the gravity of the situation at the time, and what to the levels of what was happening. So more and more fights happen. At one point she becomes furious, and this leads to again more fights. In February of 2000, one of these fights led to Kath stabbing John in the chest. February 29th of that year, John made a stop at the magistrate court. He obtained a restraining order to protect himself and his children. He even told coworkers that if he did not return to work, it was Kath likely murdered him.
Oh my
His coworkers
God.
begged him not to return home. He said that if he didn't, he worried what might happen to his children. John gets home that evening to an empty house. Kath had sent the children away to have sleepovers at other homes. So he came home to an empty house. He had dinner apparently with neighbors and went to bed. Kath had earlier that day bought a black negligee and came home to find John in bed. She woke him up for sex. The next morning, neighbors had seen that his vehicle was still in the driveway and worried about why he wasn't at work. Coworkers were also concerned, as he is the first person usually to show up at work. And they were like, he's not here. Where the fuck is he? Immediately concerned. Police arrived at the house. The police show up. They open the mail slot and they look in and they see what they think is a curtain hanging inside. And when they go inside, one of the officers says he touches the curtain and he pulls his hand away because he thinks the curtain's wet and finds that his hand is covered in blood. Because this is not a fucking curtain. This is the skin of John.
I'm so fucking grossed out.
He is completely skinned. They find on the dinner table there are 2 prepared meals made with the meat of John.
Because don't forget, she worked in a fucking slaughterhouse. So she knows how to do this shit. Is so. I knew it was coming, and I was still like, about to throw up. It's so gross.
Open up a stew pot on the stove, and John's head is inside the stew pot.
Imagine being the people who found this. Like, you will never, ever, ever be the same.
Yep.
Like, you are ruined for the rest of your life. Like, oh my God.
The police said that they were not in any way prepared for what they saw. They said that
how could you?
You can't.
How could you prepare?
You can't. They said this was the absolute, and they are traumatized by this. One of the police officers had said, he was like, I couldn't even eat meat for like literally months afterwards.
It makes me want to stop eating meat right now. Like, I'm like, oh my God, that's so fucking gross.
I think the only other person that went even partly that far, I mean, you're the only 2 that I can think of, Jeffrey Dahmer. And Ed Gein. Oh, and Ed Kemper.
And you know,
he decapitated. He didn't eat, but he decapitated and raped.
Yeah, but I mean, any person, anybody, like there was a good Jeffrey Dahmer documentary where they talked to a lot of the people who found that stuff, and any of those people, like, if you open a fridge and there's like body parts inside, like, you are never the same.
You're not.
Like, you know, like, can't. Yeah, no.
How? But these prepared meals were put on the table with placards in front of them for his children. I mean, can you fucking even fathom? They found Kathy asleep in the bedroom. She had taken a handful of pills, nothing near enough to actually kill herself, and they pumped her stomach. When she ended up going to the police station, she was like, I don't remember anything, and was, claimed not guilty, but did end up switching to a guilty
when she finally realized that she was going to have to actually have consequences for her actions. Because up until this point,
first time ever
she really
in her
hasn't.
Life.
So she probably did think that she could, like, talk her way out of this. Like,
She did try to, I think, say that she was not sane for trial. They did find her competent, of course, and she was found guilty. And she is the first woman to receive a penalty of a life sentence with no parole. No chance of parole.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and
it's not safe for her to be.
It's this kind of thing that frustrates me, because people think that people who kill people are insane. And I'm like, she's not insane. Like, she's got problems, like major problems that needed to be dealt with, but she absolutely knew what she was doing and made a decision to do that.
Absolutely. And I think the argument can be said that there's a lot of people with personality disorder. There's a lot of people who've had
don't do that,
who've had postpartum. There's a lot of people who've had a lot of these things that she's been diagnosed with, who do not do the things that she has done.
I'm close to somebody that actually had both of those.
Yeah.
And it has never
killed anybody
or stabbed people with scissors or put a baby on a train.
Or hit somebody in the face with a iron, or
a frying pan.
Skillet. Exactly.
So that's definitely, it's not an excuse. I mean, it's just like,
it's part of the puzzle. I understand that, but like at the same time, this whole like idea that you have to be like, this is what's causing this thing. Yeah. It's like, nope, there's other things involved in there, because there is a definition for criminal insanity. Yeah. She doesn't fit that definition.
Insane, absolutely.
Yeah. She doesn't fit that definition because she knew exactly what she was doing when she did it. And like, you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah. Well, the fact is that she clearly it was premeditated.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you write out the names of his children and put them next to it, then you know what you're doing. You're not in a moment of insanity. Like,
it's a rage. It's a rage that we can't possibly understand, predicated upon years and years of every single thing not working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody that should have stopped that fucking crazy train in its tracks.
Yeah.
Literally,
every
it was
adult,
just like
every system,
single
everything,
system, everything.
Yeah,
everything.
It let it go on. It's that's the thing about this story that is so crazy is that it feels like it was preventable because there were so many, with Jeffrey Dahmer, there weren't as many.
Had literally just pressed charges.
Even if he had, who knows if they would have even done anything?
That's
because
true.
she was caught having stabbed people. She was caught having tried to kill her baby. She was caught trying to like do all these
Kidnapping.
things, and it didn't matter. So it's kind of like even if he had pressed charges, like, do we have any confidence that it actually would have been taken care of?
Right.
Like,
that's so true.
It's insane. It's just like,
and
that's the thing about
I don't
want to
victim blame David on that. That came off a little bit like I was blaming
no,
him.
but I know what you're
natural.
saying.
Yeah,
if any one thing had been different.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that's, I think, where we're at is just if one tiny little thing. Yeah. So anyway, I know it's a very fucking incredibly heavy story. I was fascinated by it.
It is
I literally
fascinating.
knew nothing about it. You guys are way more true crime savvy than I am. So.
Oh my gosh. You've never seen anything about Katherine Knight? It's like the first thing that always comes up on my YouTube.
Yeah.
Like every time.
Do you want to watch this video?
And
the
I'm
Born
like,
to Kill on
like,
it is very good. Like,
shit, I wish I'd watched that.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, what you watched is probably better, but yeah, I mean, like, this story is so insane, and largely because of that, largely because you're like, this didn't need to happen like this. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Preventable. Yeah.
Preventable, crazy, like,
Well, it's definitely crazy in love.
It is, absolutely, because she had to have had some kind of pull on these men.
Well, these people, I think these men in their own way were all in love with her.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
To keep coming back.
Why would you?
They can talk about how good the puss was at the end of the day.
But it was more than
something
that.
Stronger than
there's good sex all over the place. So she had to have been offering you something else that you felt like you needed. You're having your needs met in another way, And that's
it's sad across the board. At any rate, wild story.
Yeah.
Definitely ready to get my mind off of that stat.
Well,
so what are you guys watching?
I'm not watching anything, but I did download John Douglas's new book.
Ooh, is it good?
It's really good so far. I've read all of his stuff since Mindhunter.
Yeah.
And I was like a baby when I had that book and was like obsessed with it. But yeah, his latest book is called The Killer Across the Table. And
I like the way that
4
sounds.
crimes, like from somebody that killed one person to somebody that killed almost 100.
Whoa.
And like just
Yikes on bikes. Wow.
His books are just fascinating.
Yeah.
I get the feeling from what I know about his career and him.
Did you just want to have dinner with him?
Yeah. He is kind of a lot like his Mindhunter counterpart.
Jonathan Groff got that Groffy thing
where
going on?
he's like a little bit arrogant and thinks he's right and maybe a little grandiose in his contribution to this. He's like, I created this department, and it's like, actually the department existed. Other people invented this. You came into it and you contributed.
He low key would be annoying, but also would definitely have dinner with him for
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah, I'd love to like sit and like talk to him. Yeah,
but yeah, his books are great and they're so entertaining. So I can't recommend them enough. Like if you're into true crime, read Mindhunter, the crime classification manual. There's one that he wrote a few years ago that I think it's called The Crimes That Haunt Us, where he actually profiled the JonBenet Ramsey case.
Really?
Yeah, and you can see who he thinks did it.
Oh shit!
His
like
opinion.
that.
I want to know who did it.
It's a great
Is
book.
it Burke?
I loved it.
It's Burke, isn't it? It's
So
God damn it! It's Burke.
I'm
Hashtag
not,
Burke did
I'm
it.
not gonna. No
Burke did.
spoiler alerts. Get that book because there's a few other
Crimes
cases
that haunt us?
in
Is
there
that what
too.
that
The
is?
Crimes That Haunt Us. Yeah,
shit.
It's on Amazon. I think it's only like actually you can go to Audible.
Oh.
Hashtag My Worst Date, and you can sign up. They do have the audiobook for that. Like I did not mean to plug that, but it is a good plug.
Do it.
But
Yeah, for sure.
Legit.
I haven't been watching things. I've been very busy. My brother's in town. But I've watched twice now is the trailer for the new Joker movie.
Oh, really?
I did not think I was going to be. I'm like, oh, fucking Jesus. Another
Joaquin,
origin
right?
story. Yeah, it's Joaquin. And I was like, when I heard they were doing another Joker movie, I'm like, how many fucking movies do we need?
It looks dark as fuck.
Oh, shit. I'm going to have to watch that.
Oh,
okay.
dear. It looks good.
It
like,
really does.
Honestly, Joaquin looks like, you know, I heard this on the Daily Zeitgeist, so I can't take like ownership of this, but what they said was like, whereas you feel like the Joker got into like Heath Ledger's head in that like dark way,
Yeah.
It almost feels like Joaquin is getting in the Joker's head in a dark way. Like he's gonna do like dark things to the Joker because like it feels so uncomfortable.
It feels very tragic.
Yes, it feels very tragic. It feels like this is the creation of a villain. Like he did it in such a good way.
I'm excited. I got to see this trailer.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see that movie now, and I didn't think I was gonna be. I was like, I'm fucking sick of this. Like, you know, I've seen so many of these like DC and Marvel movies. I'm good, but
yeah.
It looks good.
It reminds me of the Christopher Nolan Batmans, and that's what I needed. I needed it to be like dark and gritty and real.
I just need Christopher Nolan to take over DC.
Yeah,
100%.
Christopher Nolan's not directing this, but it still looks.
It's got that vibe.
It's got that vibe.
It's got the feel.
Yeah.
Got it.
What about you?
I have been I've been in Washington DC all weekend. Well, weekend plus. Like Thursday through Wednesday. So I haven't done shit for shit. So I haven't watched a movie. I have been. That's not true. I have been catching up finally on Marcella. Did you guys watch that?
I haven't watched it, but I've heard of it.
I watched the first season.
It's good. I'm on the second season.
Yeah, I watched the first season.
The second season might be better.
Oh, I gotta watch it then.
Really fucking
Marcella,
good.
the
Good
first season was very good. I hesitated on that because I'm like Marcella because it's spelled like Marcella.
Well,
but the way they say her name is
I worked with
Marcella.
a girl named Marcella, and that's how she spelled it.
Right,
so
right. But when you said that in my head, I was like, "What is that? Is it like Coachella? Is it like Baychella?" It's Marcella, but yeah, it's spelled like Marcella,
Marcella,
and it's on Netflix. If you like
it's
British crime procedurals,
which I'm kind of hit or miss on, but because I'm still currently unemployed, I'm like, I need something to binge that won't affect Chris's binging.
Have you seen Broadchurch?
Broadchurch for the win.
Ooh, I haven't. And that's, I gotta
so
say,
good.
I'm not a British procedurals person.
But if you like Marcella,
okay,
you will like Broadchurch. Broadchurch is
I'll give it 2 episodes
so
after
good.
I finish Marcella.
The first season especially.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah.
Chris watched it already, so it will again not affect his binging.
Exactly.
He loves a procedural.
Yeah.
And he loves a British procedural. He loves anything like that. That's not really funny enough. I feel like I'm the least true crime of the group. I love it in doses, but I love a comedy and action. Comedy and action's where I live.
Oh, you know what I did see recently that my brother made me watch? Deadpool 2.
Oh, it's cute.
And I hadn't seen it, and
good.
Actually pretty good. It's funny if you want like an action movie that's going to make you laugh.
Deadpool's
comedy action. Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
Well, cool. If you have any suggestions of things we should read, things we should watch, if you have bad date stories or anything at all, go to our one-stop shop of a website at myworstdatepodcast.com. And we thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.